pleasant Thursday to you. Welcome to Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie as we begin a new week of racing. Alongside Rodney Nelson, I'm Jim Byers. 9 races tonight. Let's get right into the action, shall we? We got a little bit of rain on the off days, but the track is fast. It was unsealed when I came down here. 74 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is cloudy tonight as we run our first card since the time change, so we won't be able to run any races in natural daylight for the last 6 days of the meet. We start right out today with a 870 race, and I immediately see you and Rick have picked Mr. Kanas, the morning line favorite. I have not. That always makes me a little nervous when, we start a week and I'm going against the grain, but we'll see. There's 3 horses low on the line here. These are maidens, 3 to 5 years old, trying 870. There's some, there's one at least in particular here, Bucket Man, that's been 870 a lot, but most of these just kind of starting out at the distance.
Right, I like Mr. Kanas here. That's the 4. I mean, this horse has gone out to 870 yards for the last 2 races, finished on the board in both of those. Both of those races came right here at Lone Star Park. I think the horse has been running well, was pretty much in these same type of races those last 2, so should be able to compete just like he has in those last 2 races. So I took Mr. Kanas on top. Lusville Trick, the number 2, is going to be my second choice. Last time out, this horse was a third-place finisher, beaten by 3 lengths in that race. But this horse has gradually been moving out. If you see last year, this horse started off at 350, went out to 400, got back to the racetrack in a Derby trial out at Ruidoso Downs, went 440 that day, moved out to 550 for this most recent race. I think that the horse, like I said, has been gradually moving out. Had that 550 last time. That was as long as they can run down the straightaway here at Lone Star Park. Now gets to try the hook. I think the 2, Lusville Trick, might be an interesting horse to play here. And then I got the number 1, Tell Her Mama Said. 2 starts at 870 for this horse. That was the last 2 races. A third and a second in those 2 races. But those came at a lower level than this one. We'll see if Tell Her Mama Said can at least be competitive in this one. I think that this filly has hit the board in all 5 starts so far this year. Give me the first race, 4, 2, and 1.
Yeah, I'm going to try Lusville Trick again. I picked him last time going 550, and I was disappointed. He was the 2-1 favorite. He really didn't run much, in my opinion, that day for being a 2-1 favorite. But that was at a period in time where Heath Taylor's barn was really struggling. He started to win races. His local string has gotten sharper. So I'm going to hope that maybe on the stretch out here, he's a horse that consistently is not broken well. So maybe going 870 will help him a little bit. I'm going to give him one more look. Tell Her Mama Said has good speed and the inside post and a rider that fits 870 horses very well. And then Mr. Kanas is one that, like you said, always gives a pretty good account at this level. He was claimed a year ago plus for 7,500, but was run pretty competitively this meet, so he merits right there. So pretty wide open as far as at least those 3 go, in my view. So we'll see how we get started today. In the second race, scratch the 8 Carter's Lights. That leaves a field of 7. They're going 220 here. None of these horses have ever gone as short as 220. These are 2-year-old non-winners of 2.
Yeah, you said they've never gotten as short as 220, but my top choice, number 7, Just Serious, spent the last 2 races at 250, so a little bit longer than this one. And both those races were pretty good for Just Serious. The 1-2 back on the 14th of August at Retama Park, won that race, did it by half a length, pretty much led it all the way down the racetrack. Followed that back up with another 250 race. It was a $7,500 non-winners of 2 race. Pretty much had the same running line, except right at the end ended up getting caught in that one. But 2 races in a row, both of them pretty good at a shorter distance. I'll take the 7 on top of number 3, Painted Rusty, my second choice here. Painted Rusty last time out went 250, was beaten by 3/4 of a length. That was in the same race that Just Serious was in, so finished right behind Just Serious by a nose. My top choice, so I figured these horses could get up there and run 1-2. And then number 6, One Dashing G's, is going to be my third choice. That last race wasn't the best. Finished 10 of 10 in that one, but was in for a much higher climbing price than that one. 2 starts back, this horse went 250, so just a little bit longer than this one in a $10,000 maiden claiming race. Won that race by a head. We'll see if, dropping from that $25,000 tag last time to $5,000 today, it's got to give this filly some relief. So we'll see if One Dashing G's can get up and hit the board.
Yeah, this is a much better level for her. I took her third also. I just, in these 220 races, I just like to see a history of quick breaking, and I think Jess Sirius, our top pick, is one of those. Certainly, her last couple starts dating back to the summer, she's gotten out very quickly. She's led late. She won one of those, ran a really bang-up third last time out in the other one. If she gets out well on the outside there, I think she should be strong. And I did take a shot on One Dream Girl as a second pick here. For a while there, she dabbled in better races in Louisiana with zero success. But when she's been down in the claiming ranks, she's fared a little bit better, including dropping here on the second weekend of the meet and having a little bit of trouble. It was only beaten about a length in an absolute blanket finish. She ran ninth, but, it was only about a length back of the winner at a similar level to this. So I'm thinking maybe she can show a little more at this level. On to the third. 350 yards here. These are Texas breds. There's a couple of conditions for this, but these are all non-winners of two that ended up in the body of the race here. And let's see who we've got here. There's two of them short on the line. Let's Go Hawk and Tempted. And we're going to each take one and see how it fares.
Right, I'll take Let's Go Hawk here. 5 races for this horse in 2024. Has hit the board in all 5 of those races. Does have a win as well. That was by DQ, though, so it's never really crossed the finish line in front of anybody or in front of all the other horses, but did have that win via DQ. Stabby Joe, the winner of that race, went on to win his next race. We've seen that horse out here a few times. But, these races that Let's Go Hawk in, even in defeat, this horse has been pretty close up. So I think that this gelding can have a good run here tonight. I'll take the 3 on top of the 6. Tempted. We've seen this horse out at Lone Star Park 4 different times over the last 2 years. Hasn't won a race out here yet, but does have a second and a third. Last time out, missed by a length and a 4th place finish, going 350 like we're going tonight. Race before that was 300. Ran a good second, and that one just missing by a head. I think that Tempted is going to be up there toward the front. Then I got the 5 Mexican Runaway as my third choice. It's another horse that's been out here a couple times so far this meet. 2 starts back, this horse missed by 3/4 of a length. Finished right behind Tempted in that race, but I got it 3, 6, and 5 here for race number 3.
I'm going to go with Tempted only because, Let's Go Hawk is one of those that's always right there. Even the one race where he ran ninth, he was only beaten about a length. That was about a year ago here at Lone Star. So, obviously, that was a race that just had an incredible finish. He's always right there, and he loves to cash checks. The only reason I'm going with Tempted, I think they've both been with really nice horses, and they both competed at nice levels, but I just think Tempted, he shows races against horses like L.S. Jack's back, and he's a gamer. And if you go way back to last year, Let's Go Hawk and him were only a neck apart at the end in a race where they faced each other. Let's Go Hawk got the better of them that day. And last time and the time before, Tempted ran from the outside when early in the meet the outside wasn't great. Now it's a little bit better. It's been a racetrack you could win on any part from all meet, but the outside was definitely not as big an advantage early in the meet, and Tempted was stuck out there twice, ran a second and a fourth. So I'm going to give him the nod there. Close call. On to the 4th. Fillies and Mares 3 and up. Good field here. These are non-winners of 4, and they are going 350. One thing I will point out before we talk about our picks, because we both have KJ Flying Cowgirl, the race she comes out of was a trial, that race where that one horse beat the gate and 2 of them, one reared and the other wheeled, and pretty much everybody got away bad except Princess Selena, the winner of that race. So it was a weird race, let's put it that way, but I do think KJ Flying Cowgirl, with it all, ran well.
Yeah, she ran well in that race. She ran well in the All-American Oaks before that, missing about 3/4 of a length to Especially Good Candy. All of her trials out in New Mexico this year, second place finishes in all those trials. If you look back to last year, this horse was in the All-American Juvenile, the Rainbow Juvenile as well. So KJ Flying Cowgirl definitely has some speed, can compete with some of the best horses there are, but this drew up to be a pretty good race. I mean, although I do have KJ Flying Cowgirl on top, I thought Forgotten was a horse that you had to take a look at. That's the number 3 here. This horse was a winner 2 back right here at Lone Star Park. Picked up a win at Remington earlier this year. Has hit the board in 4. Hit the board in 2 of those 4. The only 2 that this horse was not in the top 3 were 2 stakes races out there in California. The horse has 2 second places from 2 starts right here on our track. Has a win at this distance as well. Silencer at some pretty big odds. If you think that one of these favorites is going to get beat, take this horse on the outside. I mean, it's third longest shot of the morning line. Some good odds there for a horse trained by Heath Taylor, Francisco Calderon, the name jockey. I think Silencer could make some waves here in race number 4.
Yeah.
I got it 1-3-7.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I went 1-3-6. BP, it's tempting. Back with a little more hospitable group, although by no means an easy group of fillies and mares. Faced non-winners of 4 last time, but it was males. It was all comers. Now it gets back with fillies. This is a really good group of fillies, though. Another one that I like in here, not necessarily to win, or I would have picked her there, but AJ Brazilian Gift. I'm on her bandwagon every time. She's one of the best bred mares you'll ever see. And 2 races ago, she finally broke out of her shell and absolutely blitzed them. And then last time was just dull and kind of back to her old tricks. So she's a little fractious and inconsistent, but so I threw her in there for 4th. On to the 5th. 3 to 5-year-old maiden claimers in for $10,000. We got a mixed bag, some droppers and some $5,000 horses inching up a little in this one. Scratch the 2 also eligibles, 11 and 12, and they'll go the long 550 here.
Yeah, I went with number 3, Apolitical Rogue. So this horse went 550 last time out, got out of the gate well, led it a lot of the way down the racetrack, ended up running second in that one, beaten by half a length. But I think, getting back to 550 last time, that gradual stretch out. I mean, if you look at Delta Downs, was at 350, then went to 400, then went to 550 last time out. I think going 550 once again is going to be good for Apolitical Rogue. I mean, it was a pretty decent race last time. Horses hit the board in 5 out of 6 so far this year. 0 for 20 lifetime, though, so we'll see if this horse can't pick up that win on the lucky 21st trip down the racetrack. But I got the 3 on top of number 9, Real Pool here. Real Pool, this 9 horse, has had a couple races over our track so far this season. Finished 2nd and 3rd in those races. That most recent one came at this 550-yard distance. That was a 2nd place finish in that one. This horse has been running a lot at the $5,000 maiden claiming level. Jumping up to $10,000 tonight, so doubling that claiming price. We'll see what Real Pool gets done tonight, but at 6-1, I think this horse could be worth a wager. Then I got number 2, VP Rocket Ryan, as my 3rd choice here. We've seen this horse run up against some paint horses. This is a dual-registered horse. Has been able to compete fairly decent in some of those races, but they've been good for paint horses, and this horse is up there with them. Take it on the quarters tonight. The only paint in here. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done, but I got it 3, 9, and 2.
Yeah, I think it's always important to point out with VP Rocket Ryan or any paint that's running against quarters, his quarter horse races that I'm showing on my PPs would be 2 races ago on September 6th. He ran against quarters that day. If you go back to July 11th at Retama, maidens ran 4th in that outing. And then April 25th, race 10 at Houston, beaten 3 parts of a length. The other 4 races that I'm looking at were against paints. Good efforts, and he earned good numbers, but paints just aren't as fast as quarters. So I knocked him down a little. Apolitical Rogue also has a work we'll be announcing, but it was November 2nd here at Lone Star. Fast tracks in this race. Michael Joyner's got a lot of live horses in today. 2 races back, this horse faced the top qualifier for the All-American Derby in Vegas Trick. Okay, ran 8th, beaten almost 10 lengths, but was in some really tough maiden events as well, I think, this spring and this fall here. Last time out, got out dead last. The dam Susie Returns made 403,000. I just think this might be a race where we might be looking at a long shot winner. I like Apolitical Rogue too, but I'm going to go with Aslan Returns and hope to get a little bit of an upset. On to the sixth. I think the sixth is a real raffle. $7,500 claiming tag for 2-year-olds. They're going $330. There's 3 scratches here. The 6 leaving separately, and both the also eligibles 11 and 12.
Yeah, so in this one, we got another one of those dual register horses, VP Prize Time Heart. This is the one I'm taking on top here in race number 6. I thought this horse race could go many different ways, right? I didn't settle on one that I thought was a standout pick for me. So VP Prize Time Heart gets my number 1 choice here. It's been out to the racetrack 3 times so far during this meet. Last time out was in a futurity trial. Lost to Flying Cholitos, which was a pretty decent horse.
Yeah.
I really like Flying Cholitos. But the races before that, lost by a length in 2 races. Down at Gillespie, missed by 3/4 of a length. 2 of those were stakes races for these paint horses. So we'll see. VP Prize Time Heart. This horse does have some speed. We'll see what she can get done today. I got number 3, Astronomical Love, as my second choice. Back-to-back races have been pretty decent. Ran 3rd last time, 2nd before that, missed by a half length in both of them right here at Lone Star Park. And then I got number 10, Chicky's Cool Corona, coming from the outside as my 3rd choice. Last time out, this horse was a 10th place finisher. Time before that was also a 10th place finisher. There's not a lot of times I take a horse that's finished last 2 times in a row, but gets the blinkers back on tonight. Drops down here for $7,500. The other claiming race that we've seen this horse in was $20,000 when this horse was in for 10 at Retama. Ran a decent 4th in that one. So let's see what $7,500 does for this horse from the outside today, putting the blinkers back on. Chicky's Cool Corona, my 3rd choice here in race number 6.
I really wanted to take a shot with somebody in here, but I really didn't find any comfortable shots. I was going to check out Jess, the 12, off the also eligibles. I did take him on top, and then he got scratched. So I'm with Astronomical Love. I think 9 to 5, which is where she'll probably at least go off at 9 to 5 or lower. I think that's a pretty short price for her. I don't think I like her that much. Her last 2 races have been good, and just because of that, they weren't winning races, but they were good enough. JMB Dashing Diva for Michael Joyner is a second pick here. Now, she's 20 to 1 on the line, but the sire, Bodacious Dash, was a pretty good big-time winner, and he did win his debut. And the dam only raced once, Amazing Miss Jess, and she broke her maiden on her first start and didn't race again. So just because of that, because I really don't care that much for the form of some of the others, I took her second. On to the 7th. 2-year-old maiden claimers, $15,000 the tag. They'll go $250. Scratch the 7, Believe Me Famous, and scratch the 9, BV Hope is here. Both also eligibles get in.
Yeah, I got on number 4, Fire in My Blood here. 6 to 1 morning line on Fire in My Blood. This horse has had 3 races. The first 2 of them were futurity trials out in New Mexico against some pretty decent horses. Last time out, this horse went in the claiming ranks, was in for $25,000 right here on our track at this 250-yard distance. Ran 3rd in that race, missing by a neck in that one. So a pretty good race as the horse dropped, or I guess you could say dropped in class for those futurity trials in for the tag, but did drop in distance to 250 yards. And like I said, this horse did run fairly well last time out. So I'm going to go ahead and take Fire in My Blood on top. Number 1, JJ1 Meteorite. That's going to be my second choice. I want to say I was on this horse last time out.
I think you were.
Yeah,
and you missed by a whisk. It's officially ahead, but it looked
a lot closer than that.
A short head or a long nose.
Yeah, JJ1 Meteorite was making up some ground as they came down the stretch, but just barely missed in that one. That was that was a maiden claiming at the $15,000 level, pretty much like this one, but going to shorten up the distance from 300 to 250 tonight. I think this horse could get up and hit the board. And then I got number 8, Valiant Tom, as my 3rd choice. Another one that had a pretty good run last time out in a $15,000 maiden claiming race. Missed by 3/4 of a length in that one. If you look earlier on to Remington Park this year, this horse had some pretty decent finishes up there as well. So I got the 8 here in race 7. I got a 4, 1, and 8.
Yeah, I kind of fell for the favorite here with Valiant Tom. He's going to be a short price. I don't know where he's been. I mean, it's kind of odd that this 2-year-old who had been, in some trials earlier in the year and had run pretty well except for the 2 races where he had real start issues. He hasn't worked. He hasn't raced anywhere in almost 2 months. That concerns me a little, but Juan Diaz wins with a lot of horses coming off layoffs. He wins with horses that have been at the track lately. So better not to question that. And the E-Speed figs sort of dominate with him. So I'm gonna take the favorite here and hope I can slide one through. On to the 8th. Good contention in this one. Colt and Gelding 2-year-olds going 330. Scratch the 11 and the 12 out of this one. I think there's a lot of ways we could go in here.
Yeah, I went with number 3, Eye on the Lights. This is the only horse in this maiden race that's actually finished in front of the others, right? So last time out, this horse had a good run going a quarter mile right here at Lone Star Park. Crossed the finish line in front of all of them, but if you look at the comments, lugged in badly, got disqualified, got put second in that race.
He had the outside or next to the outside post, and it wound up in about the 3-hole by the time he was done. He ran very well.
It looked quick
but,
in that race.
Boy, he came all the way in, and I noticed that Brittany Tejas was the trainer that day. Since then, the owner has moved the horse to Salvador Flores' barn. I don't know what's involved in that, but that happened.
Yeah, but so this horse, from going from pretty much the outside toward the inside, hopefully runs in a straight line today. Yeah. I think if this horse does run in a straight line today, no DQ is going to happen, and instead of crossing in front of a head for everyone, we'll see a length win by On the Lights here. Number 6, Cartel's Favorite, is going to be my second choice. This is another one that's only had 1 race. It did come right here at this level as well. Ran 3rd in that one, missed by a neck. That was at this 330-yard distance. You know I love horses making their second career start after a decent debut. Cartel's Favorite fits that bill right here. And then I got number 4, Bounty Law, as my third choice with a second-place finisher last time out at a quick 220-yard race. Missed by a head in that one. I'm going to have to go a little bit longer, but the horse has been out this 330-yard distance one time in his career and was a solid second-place finish up at Remington Park. Give me at 364 in race number 8.
I'm on the Michael Joyner bandwagon tonight. I didn't realize that coming in. I knew he had a lot of live horses, but I'm going with the 4, Bounty Law. Similar to your theory of the second race off a layoff or second race off a debut, this horse ran reasonably well this spring and summer in some pretty good races at Remington, a Remington Futurity trial, a couple of straight maiden races up there, and then he ran in a Ruidoso Futurity trial. It was 7-2, fractious, bumped. The rider, Silva, didn't persevere with him that day, and he finished up the track. Came back here on October 11th and just missed by a head to Don Laurent in a driving finish. It was a head and a nose. I mean, at the front of that one. Got a pretty good trip that day, and I like the fact he's drawn just a little bit off the rail here. I'm going to give him a try over Eye on the Lights, who had a really impressive debut. Eye on the Lights was 8-1 in his debut. He took a little bit of action, but outran his odds that day. Train Station Mischief is another one that I'd keep an eye on. I think that one has talent. Obviously, Cartel's Favorite, who is Rick Lee's, I believe, long shot pick of the day, had a nice debut as well, and he's in your picks. So good competition in that race. 9th and final is a 220 race, and it is a super high 5 race. Carry over $30,348. It's been a long time since anyone soloed that jackpot super high 5.
Right.
Scratch the 2 also eligibles. These are maiden 2-year-olds.
So I had trouble in this one. I really thought it was a coin flip between 2 horses. But you don't have that 9 up there. I had it 1-9. I was trying to pick between these
I got
two.
the 9 4th.
Yeah, but not second, though. I thought it was between these two. I like to hear what you got to say.
I know you
about
like your Lady Bogart.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Lady Bogart.
Well, you like all Bogarts.
I do
and,
like
and
the
Bogarts
Bogart
are
horses.
running. I mean, they're running sons of guns.
But I also like Checkered Flag here, this number 1 horse, DuPonte. So last 2 races, I mean, this horse came close to winning them. Missed by a head and a neck in those last 2 races. Last time out was bumped in that race. So, I only see this horse improving. That last one was at 220. So hopefully with a clean trip down the racetrack, Checkered Flag will take that checkered flag from the 1 hole. Number 9, Lady Bogart. This is a horse that's had quite a bit of experience. 8 different races compared to 4 for Checkered Flag. But still have failed to pick up that win yet. Does have a couple second-place finishes. Last time out, missed by a length in that one, but the 2 before that missed by a head in both of those races. Lady Bogart, I think this horse will be safely up in the top 3. And then I got number 5, Dashing the Day Away, as my third choice. Coming off a solid 4th-place finish last time out in that same race that Checkered Flag was in. Dashing the Day Away did stumble badly in that race is what the comment says. So you do got to watch out for this horse. I think this horse is in the top 3 when it's all said and done. I got it 195.
Yeah, as far as Dashing the Day Away, I thought he ran a super race last time. It was his first off a layoff. It was his first local race. He had a really bad stumble and really came on well. I like the fact Urieta stays with him. So even though I think Checkered Flag was an easy pick here because he just seems to dominate in so many ways, he's also a first-time gelding, Checkered Flag is. And for what it's worth, he's another half to Whistle Stop Cafe, the world champion, but she has a lot of half-siblings. Some can run, some can't. But, he to me was an obvious pick. Dashing the Day Away, a second pick. The reason I moved Shea ahead of Lady Bogart's speed scares me. She might just bust out there like she did last time at 220 and just win because the race is short. I just fear she's had some issues getting out of the gate. She's had a fractious marker there in the summer. She ran well last time, couldn't hold going 330. I don't know. She's inconsistent, but Shea, the reason I put her in there, Shea showed a lot of speed at 12-1 last time out as a long shot in a race with a really tough one, and this dude can dance. Shea was right up with him for a while, going a little bit longer, showed really good speed. Doesn't necessarily show up in the charts because somebody else, maybe it was this dude can dance, also just had blinding speed. So I think she might actually fare well from the outside and do it at a price, so I nudged her up to third. So once again, 30,348 in the high five carryover going into that last race. 9 races today, 10 tomorrow, I believe. 12 coming up on Saturday. And pretty soon we've got the Texas Hero Juvenile and Final. Is that tomorrow or
it's
Saturday?
I believe. I think tomorrow we have the 870 Battle of the Breeze.
Yes. I got my stakes mixed up because yesterday I handicapped both days. So they're
easy to do.
They confuse me. But nonetheless, some good stakes races coming up. That Battle of the Breeds is going to be interesting. And then, of course, the Texas Hero should be interesting, too. Because Vesper Martini, who had to settle for going in the Juvenile, probably would have been favored in the final. But she had a really, really poor start in the trial. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, Rodney will have his previews down here in a lighted paddock as we are at that time of year where we're racing under the lights exclusively. Enjoy your Thursday. Thanks for looking in. And first post in 29 minutes.